Hi, everyone. It's Cricket Barrientos with Sounds of Autism, and we're here today, Spectrum Talks and Tips International, with co-host Dr. Ania Khan, clinical psychologist, psychotherapist, speech therapist, and much, much more in Pakistan. Hi, Dr. Khan. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? A busy weekend, by the way, for both of us.
For both of us. I know it seems like we're just go, but I know you have some awesome information that you're going to share today, and I'm really excited about it. Your information is
Today, actually, we are going to
so
talk about life
helpful to
skills.
our families.
Yeah, today we are
Yeah,
going to talk about life skills.
okay, perfect today. Well, and I'm gonna, Dr. Khan, I'm gonna let everybody know that we're gonna be adding all of these podcasts. You'll be able to whatever language works for them. So thank you so much, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you start.
Okay, so let me start my presentation first. And basically, these are life skills. Life skills is a layman. From layman, I use usual people call it. But for us, it is basically called self-help skill. We call it self-help skill. From self-help skill, we means those skills which are important for a person or an individual to carry on himself. Let me tell you why self-help skills are important. According to when we are going to describe intellectual disabilities or functioning, in that we make sure that if a child or a person have IQ, 70 is a normal range of IQ. If a child or person have IQ of 70 or below 70, then the person is called as a intellectually disabled, intellectually challenged person. But when if the person is good in self-help skill, the person know that how to, or the child know how to carry on himself in the respective manner according to the society, according to the social situation, then we don't call that person a low functioning person, or person who don't have intellectual capability according to his age, or so from there we can get this idea that no matter what is a child IQ, if we start working on these skills, this self-help skill, then a person is going to um, retain and maintain himself for longer time. Because why we're talking about these skills are so important above everything. Why it's so important? Because I am talking to a lot of parents, and I'm sure that you have you talk to a lot of parents, and all of them are saying what is going to happen with our child when we are not surrounded by our child. A child is going to be adult, and it's a human phenomena. We cannot stay around our child for so long. So what a child is going to do? So these skills are going to help the child to maintain himself, to retain himself, or to fight the challenge of the life, to fight the challenge of the different situations. So these are called life skills, and according to our language, we call it self-help skill. And it is divided into self-help, personal self-help, general skills. So I have these are 10 skills, and I'm going to show I think at the end. You just stay with us till the end. So let's start talking about self-help skill. Okay. So let's little bit review about these life skills. First is self-care. Second is pre-vocational skill. Third is daily living skill. Fourth is community-based instruction. Fifth is leisure and recreational activity. Sixth one is functional reading. Seventh one is functional math. Eighth one is work-related behavior. Ninth one is shopping skill, and 10th one is cooking and laundry skills. Okay, one by one we are going to discuss why these skills are important, and uh, and you will get to know the idea that why these are important when we are moving forward towards the style. But point over here is that by teaching this skill, we can teach this skill to child, and every child is different. With every child our strategy will be different. That was the reason that I mentioned about the IQ thing. No matter what the child IQ is, whether he's high functioning autistic, whether he's low functioning autistic, either he is intellectually disabled child, either he is ADHD, or on any kind of behavioral problem, or any kind of neurodivergent, neurotypical condition the child has, we have to work on these skills also. We don't it doesn't matter that the child is very intelligent, and if the child is intelligent, then that intelligence is going to give him nothing until he's good with these skills. Because we have to make our child fight the environment, and through this skill we can um, we can fill the gap actually. Because when we talk about other children, we are saying that that child at the age of 10 years, that child could do this thing, that child could read a book, that child could do the functional math. But if it's, we compare to the other children, they are, we can see that the child have, you know, specific kind of learning disabilities or specific kind of IQ, good IQ with good IQ. But the child, if that child is not able to do these things, then it means that that child have to be dependent with the parent or caretaker for the whole life. We have to think about these things. Dependency is not a good thing. We have to make our children independent, no matter how much therapies you are giving to your child. Speech therapy, occupational therapy, functional therapy, whatever therapies you are giving, either it's ABA, it's art therapy, it's music therapy, what kind of therapy, we have to make sure that the child is, we have to work on these things also. So let's talk about self-care first. Okay, so first thing is self-care. It means that create and rehearse daily routines such as personal daily hygiene, proper nutrition, exercise, getting dressed, stable manner, dealing with common illness such as cold, managing stress, etc. It means that how a child is going to take care of himself. It includes feeding himself independently, going to washroom independently, talking about needs, talking about wants independently. So these are self-care, which I talk about self-help skill, personal self-help skill journal. So self-help skill person means the child is going to take care of himself independently. Either the child can go to the washroom, the child can, if the child is 30, the child can drink water or not. And we can teach those skills to children, no matter what the level of the child is. Yes, it is the fact that we have to maybe plan 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, repeat that thing in front of them, but the child is going to eventually learn. And there are different techniques with when we are working with children, and like I told you that every child is different, so technique will be different with every children. But we have to teach a child self-care. We have to tell him that why personal hygiene is important, why washing hand is important, why uh, um you could say wearing shoes important, why wearing shirt is important by himself, why eating independently is important. So we are making a child independent in managing himself in personal level or occupational or journal level, so that the child is know that how to take care of himself independently. That is the first step of making him independent. Second thing is uh, provocational skill. Okay, it means that when a child is going to, because we have to in the morning I was stressing on the same thing, and again we have to keep this thing in our mind. When we are talking about autism, when we are talking about intellectual disabilities, ADHD, neurotypical, neurodivergent, or whatever terms we have for these kid, behavioral problem, developmental disorders, whatever the things are, either the child is real or not, we have to keep this thing in the mind that the child is going to transition is coming in that child life, and he's going to be teenager than adult. So it is a lifelong condition. We have to keep this thing in mind. That's why we are stressing on all these things, why it's important to have self-care, life skill important. Next thing is vocational skill. Transitioning youth from being a student to being contributing a member of society by developing skills such as looking and applying for a job, interviewing, understanding the job. It is vocation is just like a profession. A child is going to a profession, and over here we can generate a lot of things a lot. And I think if you know the cricket, the Sound of Autism, they are doing uh, they are going to work, and they are doing this thing for so long. And over in Pakistan, we are also me and my Dr. Shugufta, we both are doing this thing a lot, and we are creating different things. We are creating a lot of projects for these children. Like for example, we have one project, we are going to work on their cooking skill, making chocolate, baking skill, and things like that. And we have a teacher, we are looking toward that child to develop some kind of professional athlete kind of thing. So there are a lot of things you could do, but you have to plan this thing, and you need a lot of resources for that. But the thing over there is that we have to work on a child to develop some kind of vocational skill. It could be typing, it could be writing something, it could be copying, it could be computer skills, it could be accounting and stuff like that, so the child can manage himself and he can have a job of himself. And if it doesn't matter that it's a little money, but the child know that it is my money, and I am a functional person, or I am a good you could say a good in the sense of giving something to the society and making myself independent. It's more like that. Vocational skills are these skills. On each slide, my okay. So next thing that it is important is daily living skill. Okay, what does that mean? Develop practical living skills such as safety, finding information, internet, traveling, reading maps, home care, household, household cleaning, and money skill, bank account, shopping, etc. So why daily living skills are important? Because a child need to know that if mother is not at home, then where the food is in the fridge, how we have to warm our food, how we have to use the washing machine, how we have to use the how we have to open the refrigerator, how we have to check the different things, and how we have to use a microwave oven to warm our food. So these are so important skill. And second thing is, if it's about traveling, the child need to know that where the market is, where the shop is. The child need to know the map of the whole surrounding, so that god forbid someday the child get lost, so he have the idea. And over here, that is important, the child need to know his own name, the child need to know the name of the parents, the child need to know the name of the house. And you have to rehearse this thing every day in front of the child. What is the school name, what is the teacher name, what is the so that if god forbid something happened to that child, so he knew something about that. For example, last week in our town, there was a child, and he was uh, he was maybe 2 or 3 years old. I think he was 4 or 5 years of a child, and the child don't know his own name. He was not able to tell that who my parents are. And I'm talking about a child who is not with needs. He was not with the need. He was a child who was developed, according to a normal population, the criteria of normal population. But he don't know that. But we have to practice this skill every day. We have to tell the child who you are, who your parents, what is your family map, and where do you live, what is your school name, what is your father name, and what is your school, what is the phone number, so that the child know the information. And it will help the child to be more independent. Something maybe god forbid something happened to that maybe he lost, or the bus, he lose the bus or something like that, so that he know the important information and he can use that information. Same thing is that the child should know that how to use internet, instead of giving the child for watching the video. All the time we give the device to the children, and we don't think that why not we use this device to tell child a lot of things. Why not we help that child to search something important, for example, about the house, about different cities, about different countries, about looking for a lot of things to find the information. Travel, what is a map, where we are going, where a certain market is located, where certain situations are located. So these are kind of daily living skill, and we have to make sure that we make our child more independent. So home care includes, because sometimes a mommy could be sick, maybe she cannot make food, so maybe she have something in her fridge, and the child could serve to the mother, so it will boost the confidence of the child. So we are not just talking about child or adult, we are just giving him more confidence to either home care, bank account, money skill, how to count money, how to go to shop and buy something. So these are important skills, and by working we can develop these skills in the children. Okay, so next thing is community based instruction. So what does that mean? Focus on social skill and safety as students gain experience in different community environment. Over here, I use the word of students. It could be adult, it could be child. Okay. So the point over here is that the child need to know that what is good, what is bad. For example, if we talk about Sound of Autism, they're working for a lot of things. For example, they're working with forces, they're working with police, and they're working with other children, how to respond to the children and what to do in a certain situation. So sometimes child gets scared. Sometimes the child don't know what to do. Sometimes the child gets scared of some person. Somebody is trying to hurt that child, and the child don't know what to do. Maybe if he go to some police officer and tell that, give some kind of gesture that, or at least go and stand beside that police officer, so that police officers get this idea that something is wrong with that child. Or if something is going on, the child might go to some familiar person in the community, so that, or adult, so that that person get idea that something is wrong with that child, and we can teach that children to that thing. And there's a lot of community rules. For example, how to socialize, what to do. For example, if you're going to take that child in church, in case of other communities, then what you need to do, you need to sit quiet and stay quiet. I need to listen what is going around. And if you talk about Muslim, if the child is going to some mosque, then what we have to do, if you're going to some store, then what you need to do, you don't need to judge everything. If you're saying anything, then you need to buy that thing. So these are a lot of community rules, which we call social rules in our society, and we need to teach that child. And with time, I know it could look difficult, but we can help a child to learn these things. And we have a lot of visual things, and we can create a lot of you could say trainings for these things. So these are the important skill, and we have to work on these things also. The point over here is that we can teach these things. It's not that we cannot. Maybe it took time, but we can teach them. Okay. So next thing is leisure and recreational activity, and it's very important for the child, because all the time parents are thinking our child is not learning this thing. A child don't have communication, don't know what to talk. A child don't express himself. Do you know that art is a very good way of expression? Do you know that play is a very good way of learning a lot of things? For example, if we talk a lot about these things, so what is our technique? We are using play therapy for these things. All the time we don't give instruction to the child, because we know the child is not going to sit there for the long time and going to understand what we are talking about, or what we mean from that thing. We have to show that children, and all the time we cannot do modeling. What we are doing, we use a model to tell a child that what does that mean. These are two people and these are communicating with each other. So for that we use a lot of models. So leisure and recreational activities are very important for the child. You can use some community service with the child. For example, you're going to have some community, there's a course in the student classroom that you have to do some community service. For example, you have to serve in some mosque, you have to serve in some church, you have to serve in some social event. So we can take our child over there, we can take that adult over there, we can tell them, yes, you can do that. At least you can give water to someone, at least you can give them, calm them down and ask them to sit over there, or you can serve the guest, or you can give a flower to that person. These kind of things, you can help them. If you see an old man, you can help them. So we can these things are important over here. And over here, if you get this idea that we are talking about socialization, we are talking about inclusion, we are talking about integration, and these kids are going to integrate the child. So encourage and guide students to use their talent as they establish important job skill. So it could be serving anyone, it could be make a simple salad and serve someone. Why not make a small, there's a small very if you see there are very easy recipes for a lot of things, for salads, for making something, for making dressing, for making a chocolate and cake and stuff like that. Okay, if you don't want to use that, there are a lot of no bake recipes also, so you can do that. You can teach a child to uh, create something like art and craft. So just you can help a child to learn music. It could be anything, it could be any recreational thing which is very which a child can do, and he can maybe create a masterpiece and he can display it somewhere, he can display in exhibition. So the more we do these things, the more we are helping a child to integrate in the society, in the community, and more he is going to learn a lot of things. Because no matter whatever we do, a child is going to learn a lot of things from the age people, from the people who have the same age. So we have to keep this thing in mind, that the more we take the child into the community, the less the child will be novel to this situation, and he will be more you could say he will be more ready for to be independent in the society later on. Okay, so functional reading, it's very important, because the child need to know that what sign mean, what this instruction mean. Wherever you go, they give you something for a flower, and they give you some kind of certain information. And if the child don't know where my house, at least he know. If he forget, because sometimes the child have poor memory, so even the adult have poor memory. If they can read, then they can read the sign. Okay, over here my house is, it is written on my diary. So you write something, you write some kind of instruction on the paper, and you send your child to the market. And if the child will able to learn read, then he will tell that, yes, I need 2 packet of milk, I need this, and I need 5 packet of this thing. So it is more way to making him more independent. So functionally, it is very important. Apply visual communication methods such as recognizing symbols, reading maps, signs, navigation, the internet, etc., to help students to make more important day-to-day choices. For example, you can ask, okay, what do you want to eat today? So if the child is able to read, so he can read on the flyers, or the menu on the restaurant, or he can read the list on the shop. So it means that reading is very important for child know. And during speech, when you're doing speech, it's very fun thing to, because a lot of time parents are asking that why our child is stuck at something. You have to tell your make your child read something. That is an advanced level, and you are giving him a good tool to communicate. Alternative, if a child cannot tell you something, he can read something, or maybe if he read and he can write also, then he can write a spelling. That is in a definite thing. So if you're going to take your child toward reading, it means that the child is going to know. If he cannot tell you something, then at least he can write something and he will tell you. So it is an important way to, or important step to make a child or adult more independent, for making a life independent. The next thing is functional math, and it is very important. Teach students to count money, tell time, manage personal budget, measure, understand volume, unclever, and to improve real life decision making. So we think that math is more about 1 2 3. No, it's not about 1 2 3. It's about knowing the money value, quantity value, time management, and a lot of things. For example, you need more or less. So it's important to give a child, so that if you give him that skill, so then the child is going to eventually know how to count money. And if he know that how to count money, then he can go to the market. And if he can go to the market, then he can do a lot of things, because his confidence will be boost, and he will do. And one day, if the child knows how to count money, then why not you open a shop for the child? I mean, give him something to have his own. He can make his he can have his own shop, and he will start earning from maybe just a small counting skill. So I think it's going to make a child more independent and more functional. Next is behavior, work related behavior, and it's very important to child to to help a child to learn work related behavior. For example, what are the job rules, what are the school rules, what are the mosque rules, what is the rule for the religious places, what is the rule for marriage, what is the rule for socialization, what are the rules for sitting in a place where there's a lot of crowd, and what are the rules for traffic, what is the rule for hospital. There are a lot of rules, and we can help the child. If the child cannot read or write, then you can show the symbols, because there are a lot of symbols available. So work related behavior is so important. Expose children to workforce, where they will have the opportunity to directly apply for the job, and how to go to the job, how to apply for the interview, how to ask something. And emphasize on good work habits, such as following direction, being punctual, understanding authority, and working as a team, and respect the authority. These are some important skills which a child could learn with the passage of time, but we have to work on that. And these things are going to help a child to be more independent. Next are shopping skill. Like I told you, that if a child know money, if the child know how to count, then he go to shop. It's not just about clothing, it could be about grocery. It could be about, maybe a child is someday a child is going to have to open his own shop, then he have to go to the shop and buy something. If a child go to make something, cook something, then he will go to the shop and buy things for that. So we, by that way, we are making to make a child more independent and more functional, a part of the society. And we are going to prepare students for apply a variety of school business experiences, creating a lot of opportunities, money purchases, goods, and grocery. Even if a father is farmer and the child is going to take that goods to the to the shop, and he can sell them. So these are more ways to make a child independent. So last thing is cooking and laundry skill, and it's very important. If there's a lot of easy cooking recipes which you can teach your child, and just teach them how to cut things in a, you could say, in a safe way, and how they can use microwave, or how they can use stove. So learn and apply more in-depth daily living skills, such as daily chores, such as cooking and laundry skill. This will not establish a responsibility for routine and organization skill, and also the child, it will make child responsible. So what you can do, you can start by doing, giving them small tasks. You don't need to give them difficult tasks, you have to give them small tasks, so that the child is going to learn, for example, make his own bed, tidy up, and stuff like that. So all were these skills which a child could learn. And over here I am going to show one small IP, because no matter whatever these things are, we have to plan things according to the child. So over here I am going to, that was the surprise for you. By the way, I am going to show you one IP, and that I made this IP for a child, and you will see. I just hide the name and stuff like that. So these are some important clear skills. The child was of 7 years. I just cut other things, but let me show you what I added into that. So interest and hobby of the child was animals and vehicles and sports, and we can use this in our own benefit to teach a child. Okay. Strength and ability was storytelling. Imagination was good. He got good coordination. He was physically strong, friendly as well. And friendly, enjoy group activity. That was his social skill. Demanding, attention seeking, oppositional, and hitting, crying, and defies to command. That was it. You could say trigger points and behaviors. What was his good activities? He was supportive. He liked stickers, star, book. So this was his initial information. And he was sensitive to people when they did not fulfill a demand. So it was more like he just want more attention. But even the child was, whenever he see that you are giving attention to other children in front of him, the child will lose interest and he will just leave the room. So it was more like that. So But
Dr. Khan, the IEP, I don't know if you put it up on the screen for us to see, but we don't see it. We just see the example child IEP from your PowerPoint.
okay.
If you're
Sorry.
able to fix it.
Thank you
Yes,
so much
it's
for
okay.
telling me. I just forget.
Thank you.
I think I have to share it again.
It's okay. I do that all the time. I totally understand. Yeah, but I want to make sure people see this because
Yes,
it's
because
super
this is the IP of a
important.
child. I think I
And
have to stop sharing and then I have to do it again.
yes.
Okay.
And Dr. Khan, we have a bunch of teachers here in the United States created a what to ask the teachers when you are attending an IEP that we can actually share with you so that you could share it in Pakistan and we'll have it here. But the Litchfield School District teachers and director of the special needs program helped us create that so that we knew what to ask when we go into these individual education plans for our children with special needs. They have the opportunity to ask questions and it makes it a little more comfortable for them as they go and attend these events. So thank you for sharing this. This is really awesome.
So this was, I think now you can see now. Can you
Yes.
see? Okay. So I just cut the information about the child, but name and stuff like that. So he was 7.1 years old, and I already share all the information over here. So I think this is his information. Hobbies and strength and abilities. I already talked about that. So I'm going to the next slide because it is 22 pages long, and I make this IEP. Okay. So first of all, like I talk about literacy. So what was my targeted goal? Math, match word with pictures. These are different activities which you could do because there was a whole plan, and we can extend this plan by by extending the difficulty level of this. So that was match with picture, individual letters to words, card, fill in missing words, tell a child to read own name and stuff like that. So that was his target activity in reading. So what we the outcome for what was my outcome, that the child start reading, the child start phonics and sentences, understand the demonstration and decoding words as well. So that was few barrier as which I mentioned over here, that the child's speech was intangible, he had vision compliance and stuff like that. So the strength was that he was good in vocabulary and comprehension. So basically these were my uh, target in literacy. And then I have another point over here was about mathematics. That was writing also. After that, it was writing, passing, holding, copying 2 or 3 letter words, mnemonics, which is A star, A for apple, B for ball, stuff like that. Uh, Small ABC, capital ABC, small ABC. So that is all is over here. And writing a sentence in independent writing. And the child took so long to write, but he was more good in drawing. He wanted to draw all the time. So we have to shift his diversion over here. But he was doing well, by the way. He was very social, by the way. Okay, so that is about mathematics, and mathematics about writing numbers, root counting, object counting, because we have to, increase the difficulty level with the passage of time. So these are a lot of activity of him, and concept of different thing. I think you would see that whatever I was talking about, I just added everything over here. Now this is about speech goals. So that was about receptive language and expressive language. I think that is too much detail, but okay. So phonological clear. There's a lot of question why and what question, where and how question, what happened. There's a lot of things, storytelling and complex sentences, responding to complex sentence, and then leverage comprehension, answer to question what, why, where, and when, and words, different words, reading and writing. So that was his, by the way, his speech goal. But the target was for language comprehension, self-expression, communication skill, inhibitory control, which is called self-control, and speech and language communication. So there was different techniques over here. Let me tell you, take you to other thing. This is, by the way, still his speech goals. Then that was personal and social capabilities of learning, which includes self-help, like I was talking about. Over here, table manners, pick up the spoon and use the cup, use the glass, and spread with knife, pour liquid to the cup, and use the food, cut the food and put the food in the table. So that was a skill which I was talking about. These are, self-help skill. And holding a lot of things, setting the table and stuff like that. So first goal was that the child do everything with the system. Then second step is the child do this without the system. So next is dressing skill, remove socks, pick up, pants up, pants down, shoes on, off, put on your shirt, put off your shirt, button, unbutton, zipping, unzipping. So these were his, all his goals. You know, we have to add everything, whatever we could add, so the child become more independent. So next is about grooming skill, like, you know, washing hand, washing face, combing hair, brushing teeth, and blow nose whenever he's in the washroom, and you know, wiping himself with a towel whenever he's coming out. And toilet skill, which is very important, which is the important self-help skill about that. Next is done. Next skill was, okay, grooming skill, I will talk about that. Next achievement is socialization. Show interest in behavior, you know, in communication with other. Look at other when start communication. Physical approach. Look at other for anticipation and completion. You know, these are a lot of things. Then learn, listen to the command, talking to the peer, turn taking, and you know, greetings, say greetings. What it is? Perform greetings. So there's a lot of things. Physical prompting. Then there's a lot of prompting which use, and then pay attention when you're talking to them. So these are all important socialization skills. Then group instruction, it's why is very important. Start with a small group. You know, turn taking, giving for your own turn, answering. You know, you have to raise your hand when somebody's talking. So it's more like that. This is very detailed, but next is occupational skill. These are occupational skill. There's a lot of things, you know, dressing, undressing, drawing, visual motors, and eye hand coordination, zipping and different closure, spooning, scissoring, straight line, and you know, cutting and stuff like that. So then that is physical therapy. It's command following, balance on work, hop, backward walk, tiptoe walk, balance and rotation, dynamic balance, proactive balance. So these are all the skills for the locomotion. And then different skill, like, you know, manipulative skill, kick, throw, catch, aiming, muscle stretching, and weight training. You know, these are all about ball, using ball or not, and gait training as well. Because the child have a little bit issue with the walk, his gait was not, you know, in the balance. Next, in the behavior modification, what was the behavior? Command following, one step command following, two step command following, one step simple command following, two step complex command following. It's all depend. Then cooperation and reinforcement, response to name when you're talking to him, either he's responding or not, listening to you, um, wait without touching, you know, without getting impulsive. Just I want this, wait for his own turn, wait for the time, when the time is done the session, then he will go out. So these are all the things. Then imitation skill, major imitation, motor imitation, using the object, sound imitation, imitate different action, imitate leg, you know, different action with the leg, different action with the hands, and stuff like that. So vocal imitation hai, and gross imitation, using the model, without model, using the picture and stuff like that. And there's a lot of action card you can use over here. So vocal imitation, sounds, different sequence, animal sound, environmental sound, we add these things over here. So request, you know, how to request things, multiple control, in the sense request, choice, give to which one he want, which one he don't want, and what do you want, saying by that, yes, I want this, do you want this, you know. And then label things. Then picture, label the picture the item, label the item, then match these items. So these were different skill which help a child to generalize the things other than the environment. I think we have 3 minutes remaining. We read all over there. Okay, then the modification of leisure activity. Then the different behaviors. We work on different behaviors. Show the feelings, name the feelings, ask for things. You know, tell about a lot of things. Sharing toys, sharing objects, state feelings. What does he feel? What does that child feel? So there's a lot of things over here. And then executive function, which is very important. People don't talk about this, and that is the main key of working with a child with different disabilities, additional needs, special and especially with autism. What are the executive functions? For example, emotions, we have to tell them, we have to action and comprehend the emotions. Attention control, which is very important over here. Then matching different skills, then sequencing, sorting a lot of things. Then attention control, how much the child is paying attention, then how the child is matching things. So these are a lot of skill which we talk about. Then grouping a lot of things, identical object, small object, different object, same color object, and things like that. So these are all the, you know. Then blocks, Lego therapy is so important, so we just add it over here. And Lego therapy is helping a child to do a lot of things. It's not just about motor thing. The child is able to learn a lot of cognitive skills with that. So that's all about so that was all about you know,
Dr. Khan, that was awesome.
That was some IP I shared with you.
I want to go over a couple things. One, IEPs, individual evaluation plans,
Educational
right?
plan, evaluation plan, whatever you
Education, yes, thank you. So those are given to you when you start school, typically, if you have or showing signs of some type of delay in your cognitive abilities or delay in processing,
sorry,
correct?
I'm cutting you over here. So you are just starting a question answer session, so that I have to turn off that because only 1 minute is remaining. We have to come back and do this question answer session. Okay.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for the
Thank-
time, and I hope a lot of people get help with this. You could say that presentation and that IP I showed to you that. But point over here is that it is individualized for every child. We have to make different things. So strength, and it depend upon the strength of the child, depend upon the abilities of the child. And over here we focus on strength. We don't talk about what child don't do. We are talking about what the child is doing. That is a positive approach, and we have to start looking toward think positively all the time. The child don't do this, stop complaining about this, talk about what the child is doing. So on this note, we are going to stop this and see in the question answer session.
Thank you.